Hello students, welcome to Vijetha IAS Academy Ethics classes. In this session, we are going to deal with ethical concerns in government and private institutions. We are in the 6th unit. If we see the syllabus, this is how. So far we have done with ethics and human interface, attitude also we have done, aptitude also we have done, then emotional intelligence also, contributions from philosophers from different parts of the world and also India. Now we are dealing with public or civil service values and ethics in public administration. Simply this unit talks about various ethical issues and concerns in public administration. Directly we are delving into public administration and ethics. So far up to now we are mostly dealing with the theoretical part. What are ethics, what are morals, and what is correct, what is incorrect from different points of view. Different people have contributed in giving the idea that how to think what is right and what is not right. Now how we are going to apply them in the administration, that is going to be dealt by unit number 6 and unit number 7. This particular session, let us see first what are the ethical issues when you join civil service. Entering into civil service, it's not going to be that easy task because it is a very responsible job, it is very responsible duty. Every decision made by a civil servant is going to impact a huge number of people. Our population is 1.4 billion people. It's not that only one family or few close circles are going to affect based on your decision. It is larger sections of the people are going to affect either in a good way or in a not good way. That is why this duty has to be understood from the ethical point of view also, because every day when officials and civil servants are performing their duties, they are coming up with various issues. That is what ethical concerns in government institutions. After finishing government institutions, people are there in private institutions also. Not everyone get the employment in government only, because government is administering the country, but the administration of this country has to be in a very well manner, so that every person, whether you are in government service or not, each and every individual of the country is able to do their best. Ultimately, all 1.4 billion people should contribute for the growth of the country at different points of time. Private sector is also one of the important essential component in the emergence and making country developed one. That's why people will enter into government service also, people will work in private sector also. In both ways, ethics are going to be very, very important, because whether you are in civil service or outside civil service, actions are going to have huge implications on society. That's where we are going to understand ethical concerns in government service and also private institutions also. First, we'll deal with government institutions. What are the various ethical concerns that are present day society, present day government as of 2024 in 21st century we are facing. And some of these issues are continuously going on since independence, during British time period also, and they are there since the establishment of political state itself. That's what in philosophers aspect we have understood that some philosophers we imagined and visualized that at the beginning point of the human society there was like animals only. People were, one person was visualizing that there was a continuously conflict among the people. Other person, it appeared like there was complete harmony in the society in the beginning stage. For one person, in order to avoid the conflict, a state should be performed, a state should be created, authority should be created, and everyone should follow the authority. For some other person, it is Rousseau says earlier everyone were very harmonious. Later when private property concept came, everybody became like self-interested. Once again conflicts emerged. Because of that, authority was required. general will, based on the general will, and this called social contract. So in both ways, whether initially people were fighting against each other or people were in harmonious to each other, but ultimately state is formed. Once a state is formed, then administration will come. Once administration will come, then power will be there in few hands, and rest of the people are going to stay under that power or under that authority. Bureaucracy is one important component, one of the core pillars of this administration of the entire system, entire country. In case of India, it is country. In case of other countries, other country. At the global level also, global administration we are calling. Wherever this comes, this power comes with greater responsibility, because you are administering on behalf of larger sections of the people. When larger sections of the people are going to affect based on your choice and decision, and based on the manner in which civil servants and bureaucrats are going to behave, then it must be very careful while performing their duties, because enormous power is involved. Something like if you take nuclear energy, Einstein told a small amount of matter can be converted into huge amount of energy. That concept resulted in atomic energy. That is a nuclear power. Nuclear power can be used for the destruction purpose by creating a weapon out of it, nuclear weapon, or you can use the same nuclear energy for creating the energy, for creating electricity. Still, people are there without even electricity. For them, this kind of technologies will help. It will give energy and light to every section of the population across the world. So you can use that power on both ways. But when it comes to civil service also, power is there, but abuse of power is one of the great concern nowadays. Like nuclear power is abused for nuclear weapons. Similarly, the civil servant power or bureaucratic power is abused for self-interest, or it could be some other interest. Officials misuse their authority, often infringing citizens' rights and undermining democratic process. In the social contract theory, what is the social contract theory? People have an authority. On behalf of people, this authority is going to function. This authority should not undermine the people's rights and people's welfare. Ultimately, it is because people gave the power to that authority. Authority is exercised on behalf of the people. Then in that case, people must be respected. Only the people who are violating the law will be there. Who are violating the law must be punished. If those who are not violating law, they should not be punished. But people in the power, out of grudge, out of revenge, out of ideological opposition, people will try to target, the people in the power try to target certain sections of the society. Now, that is not the purpose of social contract. In the first place, authority is derived from the people. Now, you should not discriminate the people. Here, people means every section, each and every individual of the country. Every individual of the country must be respected. Their sensibilities, it could be their different religion, it could be different language, it could be different race or different tribe. It doesn't matter, whatever may be the identity of these people, but from the authority point of view, everyone is same. But despite that, sometimes power is misutilized. That is one of the great concerns for this today's bureaucracy or civil service. In government institutions, wrestling Federation of India President, allegations of inappropriate touching and molestation, sexual harassment, stalking and criminal intimidation. It is in the present day context that some wrestlers were there, and wrestler federation is supposed to encourage the wrestling sport, and so that India will win a lot of medals. If that is the responsibility of the president, then if president misutilize his authority by unnecessarily harassing the wrestlers, then it goes against the authority. Authority must be exercised in responsible manner. That is a power. That power we have the capability to bring more medals. Rather, that power, if misutilized, that is going to kill the people, kill the spirit of the people, and India is not going to earn any medal at all. Now, the power can be used to bring lot of laurels or lot of greatness. Rather, the same power, as of now, allegations are going on the president that president abused the power to harass the wrestlers, and as a result, it is a mental trauma on the wrestlers. Wrestlers are supposed to focus on the wrestling sport so that they can win the medals. Rather, now unnecessarily their attention and their emotional sentiment, emotional issues are attached to this, what this president is going to behave, how he is going to behave. As a result, who is at the losing end? One, the wrestler also, career of the wrestler also at the receiving end, and at the overall India's prestige, India's capability, India's capacity to win medals is at stake. So that is how this kind of abusing power, it appears only for one single incident, but overall it will create an atmosphere where suspicion, where people will not respect the institution. As a result, overall country will face the consequences. So country will face the consequences because of such kind of abusive power. Next, state authorities demolishing homes and properties of accused individuals without due process. Suppose if some individuals are there and they did not follow the norms of municipal corporation and they constructed houses by encroaching some of the government lands, then government should demolish those encroached areas with due process. That's what state means. Social contract, that kind of concept is people's will. People have committed mistake, but it doesn't mean the person who is in power randomly is going to act very arbitrarily. That has to be due process. That means there should be a law. According to law, it has to be demolished if demolition is the only solution. Randomly, you should not pick up the people whom you do not like and demolish. From the legal point of view, it appears it is correct because they encroached. But is there any due process? The way you punish is also matters when it comes to the matured democratic setup. It is not only how the punishment, it is also the way person is punished also matters when it comes to the democratic setup. Otherwise, this is equal to autocracy and dictatorship and despotism. It's like ancient and medieval times, kings and queens were doing like that. Now, what is the difference after 21st century standards also? That is called abuse of power. These are the few examples. This is one of the major concerns. Now, you can apply these concepts everywhere. To demolish, to unnecessarily create trouble for the people, abusing power is one of the major crises. And recent statistics says National Human Rights Commission, it has a report that many people are killed in the police custody. Police are supposed to get the criminals, but once the criminals are caught, they must be produced in the court and court will punish them. Accordingly, the criminals will be punished. But due to various reasons, people are dying in the police custody, people are dying in the judicial custody. That means people's lives are not respected, and particularly who are going to be at the receiving end, poorer sections of the people. Those who cannot fight the system, they are going to be at the receiving end. This is another abuse of power, police custody and judicial custody, and sometimes encounters. A person must be, a criminal must be punished, but according to the procedure established by law. Otherwise, if everybody allegations will be there and somebody will, if you don't like any person and you will create a condition that that person is a criminal, then immediately police will come and eliminate encounters. There is a procedure. If there is any allegation, they must be given chance to prove that they are innocent, or if they are not able to prove themselves as innocent, then if the crime is established clearly, then punishment should be given as per the procedure established by law. People should not take the law into their own hands and it will abuse the power. then people will not trust the system. People, if do not trust the system, people will completely lead, the crisis comes in the country, it will lead to the collapse of the system. Again, to country means there are so many works. It's not about only handling criminals. It is, it wants to, country needs to grow in terms of education, health sector, infrastructure should develop, pension should be given, elders must be taken care, women must be taken care. Everywhere, wherever challenges are there, government and state has to look after. But if unnecessarily certain areas create trouble, then most of the attention goes to that unnecessary aspect, but the real development will not take place, it will get delayed. And that is what is happening since independence. Because of such issues, since independence, still India is still in the developing phase only, still many people are depending on the basic food from the government. Otherwise, by this time, India would have become a very decent one, and dignified life should be given to most of the sections of the people. But majority still are waiting for the ration, when ration will come, when they will get the food. And it is very unfortunate even to know the fact that even in recent times, a girl child in Jharkhand died because she was not able to get the food on time. That is how, that is the conditions of India. That's what, the systems must be respected, systems must do their job systematically, then only unnecessary troubles will not get created for the system. System will focus on the development rather than these kind of aspects. So abuse of power is going to be one of the major concern. It is already a major concern in the public services. Next, indifference. Indifference means once power is there, using the power to solve the problem. That is, excessive power is one issue. You have the power, but you are not using power at all to resolve the crisis. Government has the power to solve a problem, but rather government to choose to be silent, it will not use that power to solve the problem. That's called indifference. Examples like when it comes to Manipur issue is going on, when government will not function proactively, or when issue happened, if government is not able to solve the problem on time, then the problem in Manipur aggravated. It leads to so many deaths. It leads to destruction of so much property. Now, ultimately, who is at the losing end? India only at the losing end. If two sections of Indians are fighting, means if any person is dying, that means it is both are belongs to Indian only. In a family, if two members are fighting, if one person die, it means it is no win for the family. It is a loss on both ways. Both are belong to the same family members. If one person die, it is a tragedy of the entire family. So that's why if there is any issue, we should act according to the given powers. Powers are there to stop that violence. If there are powers to stop that violence, we have to stop it. Indifference should not be shown. Like migrant workers during COVID-19 lockdown. COVID-19 lockdown came, and many migrants from Bihar, from Madhya Pradesh, from different places, people migrated to cities like Bangalore, then Bombay, Delhi, different places. Now suddenly lockdown happened. Now they are not able to, once lockdown happens, they will not get the work, and if they don't get work, they will not earn money, and if they don't earn money, they will not get the food. And even food items are also outside completely locked. Then they must be sent, these migrant workers must be sent to their homes. If government has the power to send them to homes, but now if government to show indifference, then what will happen to the migrant workers? They are not sent to the homes also. There is no solution to send homes also, and government not in a position to give employment also because of the lockdown. Indifference, it will lead to some of the deaths also, hunger death, and it created huge pain for the migrant workers because a completely lockdown, nothing was, transportation system was completely locked down. Now some people out of hunger, they started migrating by walk. In the modern era also, people had to go by walk. So this is how indifference leads to such kind of challenges in the country. Voter apathy in municipal elections, and when it comes to elections, people will not vote because they feel that they are not able to travel and they are not able to participate in the elections. But ultimately, who is going to be at the receiving end? Country will be at the receiving end. Indifference towards inequality and poverty. Poverty is there since independence, and if government feels that poverty is part of Indian tradition, then if we don't do anything, then that is called indifference. There must be certain steps to remove and elevate this poverty, poor conditions. Indifference towards technology use in governance. Some new technology come, nowadays technologies are upgrading, every time the new trends are coming. When technologies are upgrading, if government servants are not upgrading themselves with latest technology, that is called indifference. Suppose even if initially when in 1947 there were no computers, the bureaucrats were using pen and paper. Then after some time, when computers came, people or the bureaucrats have to adapt to the new situation. But people will be very much hesitant to the new technology and they will still focus on pen and paper. Even though advantages are there in the latest technology, people will not take a proactive step to upgrade themselves to the new technologies. If new technologies are not upgraded, for example, if you take terrorism, one issue, terrorists are very much active in upgrading their technologies. They are using latest technologies, but Indian police system and Indian intelligence system is still following the old tradition because of habit. Then terrorists will be more advanced, then system will be outdated, then terrorists are going to win over the country and it will lead to chaos and deaths. That's why when other countries are moving advanced, if bureaucrats are not readily accepting the new trends, then ultimately it will lead to, suppose in income tax department, latest technologies must be used to trace the black money. Otherwise, black money hoarding people, they will continuously doing, but government will not catch them. Then that is a economic loss to the country. Criminals will keep on updating themselves and doing cyber crime. If cyber experts are not there, if bureaucrats are not updating themselves to catch these criminals, they will be continuously doing criminal activities, but no criminals will be punished. Then that is a loss to the society. People are in the risk of these criminals. And when digital technologies are coming, with the digital technologies, people can get faster service, but bureaucrats, if they are not upgrading themselves, then it will delay the procedure. When other countries are developing, we are still in the developing status only, underdeveloped status only in certain areas. So this is how indifference means. Indifference, not acting despite having the power to act. Indifference towards gender equality. People wanted gender equality but doing nothing. So indifference means doing nothing. Abuse power means doing excessively. So power must be used very responsibly. That's why there is a slogan that great power comes with greater responsibility. So power comes with responsibility, great power comes with greater responsibility. That's why once power comes in the hands of the people, it must be used very responsibly in the right proportion. It should be used where it should be used, and it should not be indifferent attitude also. Corruption and bribery, there are so many examples, and we are in the previous sessions also, we are continuously seeing that is one of the ethical concerns for private. It could be because of the family pressure, because of the friends pressure, because of the social pressure, because of various senior pressure, political pressure, people will involve in the corrupt practices. That is a very serious challenge in the present government institutions. Evasiveness, government officials avoid responsibilities and difficult decisions, often leading to excessive bureaucracy and procedural delays. If a decision has to be taken, if scheme funds have to be released, and government believe that if there is any kind of disproportionate allocation of the scheme funds, then sometimes the people will not take the decision to release the funds, and it will go on. The people who are supposed to get the funds will not receive, and that will affect their education and their careers. Post-retirement benefits, like when it comes, suppose if there are judges, after retirement they look for lucrative positions like Rajya Sabha MP, or it could be governor position, it could be some important member of a important commission. When they were doing their duty, if they are thinking about after retirement what post they need, then they are not going to do justice for their post where they are doing their duty. Before retirement, they are supposed to do their duty according to the Constitution of India. If they don't follow that, if they are thinking about, if they go against the government, in future they may not get benefit. If that is the criteria, then they are not going to function properly. A judge will not give judgments against the government. Suppose after retirement, if a company, if a person is wishing to join a particular private company, if a private company is supposed to punish for their crime activities, then people will not, the officials will not touch that company, because after retirement they are expecting some kind of benefits from that company. So these kind of issues, some of the issues. Mismanagement of public funds, that is another issue. The funds which are supposed to give to the public schemes, the scheme fund will not go to the schemes properly. As a result, people will be at the losing end. And some of the reasons in previous sessions also we have seen: personal gain, personal interest, because of when it comes to salary of civil servant is less in comparison with outside competitive world. In a materialistic world, no matter how much money a person earns, it will be there still not sufficient, because that kind of atmosphere is there in the materialistic world. That's why people will not be happy with the salary, and they may want to get more amount by using the power. Personal interest, it could be, even though if they don't want personal interest, for some other reasons they may be pressurized by some other person. That's why that is also leading to another corrupt practices and abuse. Power or influence, public officials may abuse their power or influence for personal or inappropriate purposes. Lack of accountability. Even after abusing the power, if the public servants are not getting caught in the system, then it will embolden the people to further involve in such kind of activities. Suppose a child is there in the school, a child, the moment a child commits a mistake, if teacher punishes them immediately, then it is set an example for the other students also not to commit that mistake. And for the same student also, the student will not repeat the same mistake, because there is an accountability, there is an immediate punishment for the particular mistake that is committed. If teacher is not punishing despite a student committed a mistake, and now it will embolden the student to go to do some more like that, and it also embolden the other students also. They feel that even if we commit mistake, no punishment. That's why it will encourage them to do so many mistakes. That's how lack of accountability. So there is a difference between taking a bold decision and also involving intentionally in unethical practices. It has to be very much careful. When it comes to a decision, government servants are supposed to take some decisions proactively. Suppose when there is a proactive nature of the civil servant, sometime it may go wrong also, desired outcome may not come, but at that time you should see the intention. If intention is to do good, then people need not to be punished, because that is the freedom that should be given to civil servants. Otherwise innovation will not be there, stagnancy will be there, and as a country will not progress with the static nature of the system. In that scenario, that intentions are to do good, in that case innovations and proactiveness must be encouraged. But when there are malintentions, then because of lack of accountability, they try to misutilize these power, that is abusing power due to lack of accountability. Culture of corruption, like just I have said, if there is no accountability, if there is no punishment for the activities, unethical practices, then it creates a culture of corruption, that if everybody is doing, even if I do, nothing is going to happen. So that's what the group mentality or the culture of corruption leads to another. This is another reason why ethical issues concerns are emerging in the country. Personal values or beliefs, pressure or temptation. So these are in a more or less same issues in a different language. Personal interest, family interest, friends interest, then political interest, then the interest in the long run. All these are causing the ethical concerns in the country. Excessive security means even government servants committed crime, still they are protected by the constitution itself. If constitution itself is protecting, the reason for protecting is so that they will not fearful. Even if government is pressurizing, if politicians are pressurizing to commit some unethical practices, they need not to worry about the consequences because constitution provided security protection to them. But now because of this, people misuse it, people abuse the power and hide behind this security cover. As a result, they were not being punished on time. So these are various reasons why ethical concerns are coming, why the power is being abused. When it comes to ethical concerns in private institutions, ethical concerns in private institutions, there will be employers and employee. Employer who provide the employment, employee who is taking the employment. And what kind of ethical issues will come? From the employer perspective, what are the ethical issues? From the employee perspective, what are the ethical issues? Employer is supposed to provide employment to larger sections of the people. Employer supposed to provide good environment for the employees. Minimum basic salaries must be given. Employer should not exploit the employees. That is an ethical concern. If employers are exploiting the employees, that is unethical. If employer do not give or pay the salaries on time, that is unethical. If employer immediately terminate the employees without any reason, just for saving his profit, that is unethical. So sending the employees or terminating the employees without giving notice suddenly, that is unethical. That's what. And treating the employees as slaves, that is another unethical practice, ethical concern. So these are some of the examples. Unfair employment practices, deceptive actions by employers or employees that violate statutes such as discrimination or unfair suspension. Showing favoritism to certain sections of the people, that is from the employer side, that is not correct. Misleading advertisements, and when it comes to public at large, the business people, employer, business will produce certain goods and services and sell it to the product, sell it to the market. If they claim great benefits of their product, and people will fall into the trap that this product will have so many benefits. So people are deceived by these advertisements, and people are showing enthusiasm by seeing this advertisement that they will get a lot of benefits by purchasing this product or service. But once they are purchased, if the company is not responding, and whatever the quality that was promised, whatever the quality which was given in advertisement, that is not coming to the reality. So this is called misleading advertisement. That is another ethical issue. Faulty audits, when audits are supposed to be done and they collide with the auditors, and auditors will not give the right amount of money they earn, right amount of money they have to pay the taxes. And if the auditing process do not take place properly, then whatever they are supposed to pay the tax, that will not come to the government, and government is at loss. Once government is at loss means again the funds in the budget for education, health, security, military, everything will go down. And as a result, almost in every session we are continuously discussing how it is going to create trouble for the country. The welfare of the country will be at the losing end. Faulty audits. Insider trading. Suppose a person is their employer, and if they have another company also, if they have some other place, they will leak the information, that creates a problem. Anti-competitive behavior. Secret agreements between companies in the same industry to raise prices. Suppose if there is a product and only 2-3 companies are selling that product, they will join together and they will not release the supply, so that people want it, and suddenly they will increase the prices and they will release the products. Unethical practice. Influence peddling. So influence peddling means influencing the politics to take certain decision with respect in favor of the companies, or to not to take decision if something going against them. These practices undermine ethical business conduct, harmful harm stakeholders and can have significant legal reputational consequences for the companies involved. So overall what will happen? The company's trust will be at the stake, and in the long run they will not provide much employment, and whoever already employed, they will also come out one day, they will become unemployed, and the stakeholders who were invested, who trusted and invested in the stock market, they will lose their money. So this is how so many issues, ethical issues, if employers, the industry owners, company owners are not ethical people, if they are not giving importance to ethical issues, then it will have consequences on each and every stakeholder connected with that particular company or private institution. Some more ethical concerns in private institution. Ethical concern with respect to employees. So employer perspective we have seen. Now employee perspective. With respect to employees, what employees will do? Employees, they have to use the resource of the company for the company purpose. It same applies even in the government institution also. Suppose government allocated a vehicle and government gives a certain amount of allowance for transportation. That has to be used. What is the purpose? That has to be used for the official duty. Instead of using for official duty, if the government servants use for personal purposes also, then that is called abuse of power, misusing the power. That is only one incident. And similarly, when it comes to private institution also, employees are supposed to use the company resources for the company purpose. If they use it for personal purpose, that is ethical concern with respect to employees. Inflammatory communication, abusive language in the workplace, that will spoil the atmosphere of the company and that will reduce the work productivity. People will not focus on the work, rather they will unnecessarily involve in this kind of gossips and abusive communication languages, and most of the energy goes to talk about these issues rather than focusing on the goals of the company. Incorrect use of equipment for the personal purpose, making use of travel incentives, taking more than what permitted amount of leaves. So whether taking leaves also, whether taking amount of travel allowance or any other allowance, spoiling the atmosphere, not working the on time to the best of ability, delaying the works. So these are all the issues from the employee perspective. From the employer perspective, how they treat the employee stakeholders and the income and the taxes. So these are various issues. With respect to employers, favoritism, sexual assault, pink slips, payment of the employer's gratuity, provident fund, taking credit for others' work, harassing behavior, lack of transparency and disclosure, lack of quality of products and services. So these are various issues we have seen. Summary of all these issues are these ethical concerns in private institutions. So with respect to private institutions and government institutions, what are the various ethical concerns? So these are the various ethical concerns which we are going to encounter in day-to-day administration when it comes to government institute and also in private institutions with respect to employers and employees. So in this session we have summarily discussed about various ethical concerns in public as well as private institutions. Thank you.